Some people think cheating is just a mistake, a slip, a moment of weakness. But when you plan it, when you lie about it for months, when you look someone in the eyes and tell them you love them, while your phone is full of messages to someone else, that's not a mistake. That's a choice. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of a woman named Maya, and the man who thought he could cheat on her without consequences. He was wrong. Dead wrong. By the end of the story, his name became a joke in his own office. His new relationship collapsed before it even started. And the woman he cheated with, she found out exactly who he really was the hard way. Stay till the end, because the final twist is something nobody saw coming. Not even me. Maya and Daniel had been together for 4 years. To everyone around them, they were the goals couple. The ones who posted anniversary pictures every year. The ones who finished each other's sentences at dinner parties. The ones who friends pointed to and said, "That's what real love looks like." Maya worked as a marketing manager at a mid-sized company. She was organized, driven, and fiercely loyal, the kind of person who remembered your birthday, your coffee order, and the name of your childhood pet. Daniel worked in sales. Charming. Confident. The kind of guy who could sell ice to a snowman and make you thank him for it. They had talked about moving in together. They had even started looking at engagement rings, window shopping, laughing about future weddings, planning a life together. Maya trusted him completely. That trust would become the very thing he used against her. It started small. The way it always does. Daniel began working late more often. His phone, which used to sit face up on the table during dinner, started disappearing into his pocket. He'd glance at notifications and quickly lock the screen. Maya noticed. Of course she noticed. Women always notice, they just don't always want to believe what they're noticing. She told herself it was stress. A new project at work. Maybe he was planning a surprise for her birthday, which was coming up in a few weeks. She wanted so badly to believe the good explanation that she buried the bad one. But one night, everything changed. Daniel had left his laptop open on the kitchen counter while he went to take a shower. Maya wasn't the type to snoop. In 4 years, she had never once checked his phone or his messages. She respected his privacy the way she expected him to respect hers. But that night, a notification popped up on the screen. A name she didn't recognize. A message that made her stomach drop. "Can't wait to see you this weekend. Tell your girlfriend you have a work trip again." Maya stood frozen in her kitchen, staring at those words. 4 years. A future they'd planned together. And it had all been a performance. Most people, in this moment, would confront him immediately. Scream. Cry. Throw his things out the window. Maya didn't do that. Instead, she closed the laptop, went to bed, and pretended nothing had happened. Because Maya wasn't just hurt. She was smart. And she knew that if she confronted him right then, he would lie his way out of it. He would delete evidence. He would gaslight her into thinking she misread the message. Men like Daniel were good at turning the story around, making the victim feel like the problem. So Maya decided, before she said a single word, she needed the full truth. Over the next 2 weeks, she quietly gathered everything. She learned the other woman's name, Priya, a co-worker from Daniel's office. She learned that the work trips Daniel had been taking for the past 4 months weren't work trips at all, they were weekend getaways with Priya, paid for using a credit card Maya didn't know existed. She learned that Priya had no idea Daniel had a girlfriend. He had told her he was single. He had told her he was falling in love with her. He was living two entire lives, and lying to both women at the same time. Maya didn't cry anymore. Somewhere in those 2 weeks, her heartbreak turned into something colder. Something focused. She wasn't going to just leave. She was going to make sure Daniel faced every consequence of what he had done to her, and to the woman he was deceiving just as badly. Maya's plan had 3 parts. Part 1, Priya deserved the truth. Maya didn't blame Priya. Priya was a victim too, just as deceived as she was. So Maya reached out to her directly, calmly, with screenshots, dates, and proof. Not to start a fight, but to show her what Daniel had really been doing. Priya was horrified. She had no idea Daniel had a girlfriend of 4 years. She ended things with him that same night and, unlike Maya, she wasn't quiet about it. She told her closest friends at the office exactly why. Part 2, the financial truth. While going through their shared expenses, Maya discovered Daniel had been using money from their joint future house savings account to fund his trips with Priya. Money Maya had been contributing to for 2 years, believing it was for their future home together. This wasn't just betrayal. This was financial deception. Maya consulted a lawyer quietly, calmly, and learned she had every legal right to recover what was rightfully hers. Part 3, the confrontation. Maya didn't want a screaming match. She wanted Daniel to fully understand, in one moment, that his entire secret life had collapsed and that she had known the whole time. So she planned it for a night when everything would come together at once. Maya invited Daniel to what he thought was a quiet dinner at home. Candles. His favorite meal. He probably thought, ironically, that she was planning something romantic. Instead, when he sat down, Maya placed her phone on the table and calmly played a voice recording one of the messages Priya had shared with her, of Daniel saying he loved her and wanted a future together. Daniel's face went pale. Before he could even speak, Maya slid a folder across the table. Bank statements. Screenshots. Hotel receipts. Every piece of evidence, organized and dated. I know everything, she said quietly. I've known for 2 weeks. Daniel tried to backtrack, tried to explain, tried the classic move, it's not what it looks like. But there was no version of the truth that made this look like anything other than exactly what it was. Maya told him calmly, Priya already knew. His co-workers already knew. And she would be pursuing repayment of every dollar he had taken from their shared savings, with her lawyer's support. Then she asked him to pack his things and leave that night. No screaming. No begging. No dramatic breakdown. Just quiet, controlled finality which, for a man like Daniel who thrived on being in control, was far more devastating than any argument could have been. Word spreads fast in small offices. By the time Daniel returned to work the following Monday, most of his department already knew what had happened. Priya hadn't tried to hide it. Why would she? She had done nothing wrong. Daniel, once known as the confident, charming guy in sales, became the guy people whispered about. The guy who lied to 2 women at once. The guy who stole from his own girlfriend's savings account to fund his affair. His reputation, the thing he had built his entire charm around, was gone. Maya, meanwhile, got her money back every cent, after her lawyer sent a formal request backed by the paper trail she'd built. She moved into a new apartment. She reconnected with friends she'd unknowingly drifted from during those 4 years. She started therapy, not because she was broken, but because she wanted to heal fully and intentionally, without carrying resentment into her next chapter. A year later, Maya was doing better than ever. New job, new relationship built this time on complete honesty from day one. Daniel, he was still trying to rebuild a reputation that no longer existed at that company, in a city where everyone in his industry seemed to already know his story. Here's the part nobody expected. Months after the breakup, Priya reached out to Maya again, not out of guilt, but gratitude. She told Maya that finding out the truth had actually saved her from something much worse. She had been on the verge of moving to another city for a job, largely because Daniel had convinced her they had a real future together. If Maya hadn't reached out when she did, Priya would have uprooted her entire life for a man who was never honest with her in the first place. The two women, who had every reason to see each other as rivals, instead became something else entirely, two people who had both been lied to by the same person, and who chose honesty and support over bitterness. They're still friendly to this day. Daniel, on the other hand, never got the chance to explain his side to either of them again because neither one needed to hear it. Maya's story isn't really about revenge. It's about something more powerful, the choice to respond to betrayal with clarity instead of chaos. She didn't destroy Daniel out of anger. She simply removed the lies, one piece at a time, and let the truth do what it always does, eventually come out, in full, for everyone to see. If there's one thing to take from this story, it's this: the truth doesn't need help to be devastating. It just needs time. If this story hit you in some way, let me know in the comments. Have you ever discovered a betrayal you had to handle with patience instead of panic? I'd love to hear your story. And if you want more real stories like this one, make sure to subscribe, because trust me, this is far from the last story of karma finding its way back to the people who deserve it.